in your family, Cat?
Yeah, that's why I don't tell you yet that my father-in-law.
Oh, sorry, farm, okay?
No problem.
Yeah, just pray for us.
Yes, we will.
Okay, let's just pray so we can start. Loving God, we thank you so much for everything. And another thing we don't understand, but we know that you love us and you care for us. We lift up Farm and her whole family before you for the loss of her father. And we pray for everyone that coming to the funeral to be blessed and to be comforted by you. And we lift up all students before you tonight that give us the wisdom, the understanding, help us to learn so we can serve you and help the people to know you better. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, as you know that Genesis is so long, 50 chapters. We might cannot go in detail in every chapter or every part. I might have to go faster. And if you have questions, you can ask me when we take a break. But I will not cover all detail now. So far we finished maybe, I don't remember, 13, 14 chapter of Genesis. You have any questions so far? You catch up very well with your group study?
We're going very slow, John. With the group, even in one chapter, it take us forever because we talk. We discuss,
Okay.
we talk among ourselves. And then if anybody have question, they can share, they can ask, question there.
Okay. Yeah, you have the commentary, you have the note to help you in some way. If you have doubt on the note, you can check with me. Okay, let's go on. Let's see what chapter we.
Ajahn, next one will be 14.
Oh, 14. Okay. Now, in chapter 14, talk about the war between all nations, Thai-Lao in Canaan. This is around 5,000 years ago. When you talk about the war of country, the country is not that big as today we're talking about. If you want to compare the country in Abraham time and our population today, it's just like a city or a town. And it's not that big. It's just maybe 5,000, 10,000 people each country, or some big one might be have 100,000 people. That's all. So the leader of the tribe of the group call themselves king and call themselves country already. And they fight all the time in order to have more land, more people, more resources. And there's no rule. If you're stronger, you win, you get off. And when you're weak, your enemy come up and kill you. So sometimes they try to make peace by giving their daughter, their son to one another so they can be family. So at least they can talk or they can share resources or can feel that this is not our enemy. We are family. So this is the way they make peace in the old days. Marry amongst themselves, they give son, give daughter in marriage to make peace or to make friendship. And this is how they, but sometimes the war still break out and they fight. And this is one example that the war between all these friends start in Canaan. And why it involved Abraham? Abraham is not as big as themselves, these people. He's just a newcomer. And he tried to make peace with most of them. Now the problem happened here will mostly relate to Lot. You remember the last chapter? Lot moved away from Abraham under the protection, and Lot come to live near Sodom and Gomorrah because You can compare that in Abraham time 5,000 years ago. Sodom Gomorrah similar to the sin city like Las Vegas or big city like New York, something like that. All the fun, all the drinking, all the gambling, all things get there. So Lot still young, he loved all this kind of activity. You might remember at first he just the herder, he taking care of all sheep, goats. He lived outside the city. But later on, you will see more that he moved in, live in the city now. And what happened now? The war between all different countries, small countries, fighting one another for all the resources, or try to dominate over other to get all the land. And the war happened. And when the people from Sodom Gomorrah were killed, were taken captive, Lot also, because he lived there. And when they come and get everyone, this is how they fight the war. They take all the people with them at captive and take all their herd and everything. Because in those days, people don't use money as we have today. They don't care about paper. They care about animal and people. This is how they count their riches, their resources. How many herd of animal you have, how many people you own. And this is their wealth. And what happened? People from Lot family came to Abraham and tell him, oh, the war happened, and they take Lot with them. Now the word Hebrew. You see the word Hebrew here in Genesis chapter 14. But in fact, we know that Moses is the one who wrote the book of Genesis. And the word Hebrew is not in Abraham's time. We know that the word Hebrew get into the Jewish culture, society when they moved to Egypt, because Hebrew is the Egyptian word, mean Gentile or foreigner. The Egyptian called the Jew Hebrew, mean that Gentile or someone else who come to live with us. So it's not really the vocabulary that the Israel used for themselves. But we know that Moses used this word for his family because they got it from Egypt, but that will be 1,000 years later on. So that how can we see that Moses is the one 1,000 years later record all these things for us. Now, Abraham tried to win and help his family, Lot. Now you see his army, 318 people. Now, can you call this an army? Impossible. Just 300 people. Young men that he have in his family. Most of them are slave or servant. Some are his relatives. But 300 people going to fight the war with 10 kings or 5 kings, 5 countries is impossible. But he will win. And now you have the question that how 300 people are going to win over 10,000 soldiers. Impossible. It's just a miracle that God going to save them and help them. And you will see from now on that the people of God, when they went to war, most of the time they not fight, but they go to correct the victory that the army of angels already fight for them. It will happen many situations that the Israelites, when they after the angel already kill all the enemy, they just went there to correct all the leftover or the good or the thing that they left behind. So this is not exactly the war. It's the war of angel and of God who fighting for them.
It's from my dad.
And now the word Dan. Dan is one of the tribe that not even exist in Abraham's time. And now you see why they talk about Dan. Well, this is Moses again. Moses is the one who's going to talk about the land of the 12 tribes that God going to divide amongst or the 12 tribes of Israel in the future. But in Abraham's time, no Dan yet. They not even exist. They're not even born. But we can understand that because Moses, 1,000 years later on, tried to tell people about what happened. And they try to understand that what Moses talking about. In that time, then only a tribe, and they know that the land that then the tribe of Dan live it go further north, very far north. And now they talk about how Abraham's soldier or his servant go to war, fighting 10,000, 20,000 army. And they're just 300 something. And you might see that this is something that in Abraham's time or in the old time war, most soldiers won't do that, mean that they fight in daytime. They don't fight at nighttime. Why? There is a belief in the old culture, in most history. They believe that at nighttime is a time of ghost, spirit. So all the soldiers who worship and are afraid of ghosts and spirit, they don't fight in nighttime. They fight at daytime only, period. Mean that if you try to make them to go out into war and fight at nighttime, they won't go with you. So the 10, 20,000 people will walk out at daytime when they see everything well. They are afraid of night, of darkness. They don't fight. But the uniquely of the Israel soldier is they don't afraid of nighttime. And they always fight at night while the enemy is sleeping, also afraid. And they go out at nighttime. Even they have a very small number, they win. And it's not by themselves again. The army of angels is in front of them all the time. By night, they go out. Abraham divide his people by night and go back, and they win. Now we talk about 300 people fighting tens of thousands of people. How they win? That's a miracle. So you see that it's 100 to 1. Or even more. How you win? One fight 300 soldiers. Well, this had happened. The Bible says Abraham rescued Lot, take him home with all the possession. Now Lot will have 10 times more possession than when he started with. After the war, he get 10 times richer, and Abraham get all the reward from the war too. Now, the interest story here happened here in verse 18 to 20. Melchizedek, king of Salem, came out to welcome Abraham after the war. And who is this guy? He just popped up. And Salem is Jerusalem, the old name of Jerusalem called Salem. And who is Melchizedek? There are many theologians believe that Melchizedek is just Shem himself, the son of Abraham, and the son of Noah. You remember after the first, Shem is the ancestor of the people who live in this area. And a lot of theologians try to link him, Melchizedek is Shem himself, son of Noah. But if you compare this with the book of Hebrew, a New Testament, they talk about one chapter, they talk about Melchizedek, king of Salem, no ancestor, just pop up and become the priest of high priest of God Most High. The book of Hebrew in our New Testament compare Melchizedek is Jesus himself. Jesus who came to this world to help Abraham, and he is Melchizedek. He just popped up. So if you want to use the explanation of the book of Hebrew, this is Jesus who come to save them and help them. And why they say that Abraham know him. Abraham bowed down, worship Melchizedek, and give tithe to him. And Melchizedek blessed Abraham. So this is just something that a lot of people don't understand what happened here. And the book of Hebrew will say that Melchizedek just popped up without knowing where he come from, where he going. But in history, we know that there is a position here in Salem long before Abraham came here. And the possibility might be he, the son of Noah, came himself. But we don't know for sure. This is just one theory. But the book of Hebrew wants us to know that this is Jesus himself who came to save Abraham and to bless him. God who come in the form of Jesus. So this is the most possibility if you use the book of Hebrew in New Testament to explain who is Melchizedek is. So another way to say that people already know God or Jerusalem have been selected as one of the most important cities long before. Now, this is time of Abraham. And the Jewish people don't own Salem or Jerusalem. About 600 years after this time, after Abraham time, Joshua will bring the Israelites back to Canaan. And they will win over the Jebusites who live in Jerusalem. They will take over Jerusalem for a short time. And then they lost it again until David time. It's about 600-700 years after that, after Joshua time, King David will take over Jerusalem again and make it permanent city of David. And this is going to be the second time that the Jewish people take over Jerusalem. And today the Jews still live in Jerusalem. This is the third time the Jews take over Jerusalem from the Gentile. But Jerusalem is a long history. Long before, even before Abraham came to Canaan, that 5,000 years ago. So this is the blessing of Abraham by Melchizedek. If you believe that this is Jesus himself, so this is the blessing that Abraham know very well. This is God himself come and bless him and help him in this world. And this is the symbol. Abraham gave him tithe, mean that 10% of whatever he win or what the battle brought him, he gave to Melchizedek. And now the king of Sodom and Gomorrah come and tell Abraham that just give us the people back, whatever possession you got, you take them. Abraham said, no, I won't take anything. I make a vow to God that I come to this world to save my nephew only, and don't take anything. Whatever you are, take them back. And you cannot say that you make me rich. Only my God can make me rich. Now, this is a very interesting point, because people who risk their life to war, they take everything they win. Nobody ever reject or deliver from war that they fight so hard to get. But Abraham is the first one to say that I won't take anything. I come to this war not for this reward. I come to this war to save my cousin. That's my goal. And I won't take anything else. I make a vow to God that way. So that's how important a vow to God that we need to keep. Sometimes we change what we make a vow to God, and that is not a good thing. Why? Because this is God. It's not your friend or people that you keep changing your promises or your vow. God knows everything. And the Bible warns us, whatever vow we make with God, we have to keep. We can come and discuss more about the vow to God, how serious it is. Okay, this is a short version of chapter 14. So I can come back to you for discussion of few things that important to us and to you. Okay, about the war here, what we learn that you think is the most important thing? The first thing, Abraham makes his right to save his nephew. Some people might say, this is not my business. For Abraham, this is my business.
That's his family.
Yeah. A lot of time we don't want to get involved because we know that we have to pay the price. We have to have a lot of problems, but sometimes we need to. It's worth it. So what is your limitation? How far
Okay.
should you get involved? Yeah.
Well, if they come to our homeland, we have to stand up and fight for our homeland.
Yeah, for a lot of citizens, to protect your country is the most ultimate sacrifice that we all citizens have to make. And beside that, what's else that important to you?
Jehovah Witness, they don't get involved in war or the pledge to the legion, and also they're not participating in election. I go, how could you do that? Because you're supposed to be a salt, light and salt. You cannot turn the blind eye on that. I don't know.
Atan,
Yes.
did Abraham talk to God before he arranged his 300 men, 318 men to go to the war? Or how he know that he can win that 10,000 people?
Well, the Bible did not give us detail how he make decision or how he believed that God could be with him.
So I
So
think at least he should get the clues from the God. Other than that, so impossible that how many kings what soldier, and then only 318 men can fight. That's why this is my big picture. I don't know how he can guarantee that he will win.
Faith. He has faith.
well, the Bible quiet on how he decide and how he know God going to be with him. But one thing that we know for sure is Abraham know that he have to go. He have to save his nephew. No choice.
There is no choice. Okay, that is the
Yeah.
clue.
Melchizedek. I'm interested to know Melchizedek. He said the Melchizedek, king of Salem. I know that a lot of people think he's Jesus. And how that people compare Melchizedek to Jesus? Why?
You're going to read the book of Hebrew in New Testament.
He's a high priest. Jesus is a high priest also, right, John?
Yeah, you go to the New Testament at the end before, after James or before James, the book of Hebrew. In that field, there are at least 3 chapters talking about Melchizedek there.
Ajahn,
He said-
one more question. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Please, are you done with your question or?
I think if you read the book of Hebrew, they will answer most of your question because they talk about a lot about Melchizedek there, several chapters.
One thing is that Abraham refused to take any offer from the king after he win the war. And a lot of things is because he don't want the king to brag about, oh, Abraham rich because of them. You know, Abraham make a good choice.
And that answer question that did he talk with God? Abraham already make a vow with God before he
Yes.
go to war. So he already talked with God.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ajahn, I have a question about how did Moses know about the story that we study about? Is it by somebody that told him the oral story or by inspired from God?
We believe that the oral tradition or story have passed on generation to generation, but the detail come from God himself because we know God inspired Moses, tell him the whole story, that how he record everything. But the Jewish people know a lot of oral history.
Okay, so part of the oral history and also inspired by God.
Yes. So what shall we learn from this story?
I think we learned that whatever Abraham did, he only sourced that is trusting in God and put everything in God's hand, no matter how difficult situation is. And he know that he went 300 men. He went, you know, that God is going to help him with that. Yeah, fight the war for him.
Yes, by all means, the 300 people cannot fight the 10,000 of soldiers. Impossible. And these 300 men are shepherds, not soldiers. Yeah, Nathan?
So Ajahn, Abraham, he were able only gather only 300 men, or just because he one limit 300?
I think that all he can get.
Okay.
That's all he had, 318 people. But it say that's his servant. He trained his servant to be fight for that.
Well, you see, their main job is the shepherd. They need to protect the sheep from thief, from robber, and from wolf animal. So all these shepherd need get some kind of training too. But it's not for war.
Ajahn, Lot, I think Lot refused the warning, so he go back to where he was. Why is that?
I think it's just like all of us. We know the situation bad, we know the danger, but we still want to take the risk. The temptation is so high because the fun city.
And because he loved those gambling, party, drinking, all those things.
Yeah, you might be surprised that even 5,000 years ago, people know how to gambling, drinking, all these things already.
So is that the problem is because of the sin city that he live in, and his two daughters got adopt the system from the sin city, right? That's what they.
Yes. And we believe that his wife is one of them. He get his wife from there. And he raised up his daughter from that kind of culture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know that many years ago, I tell people that I won't go to Las Vegas. Even people invite me, pay for my airplane ticket, go to visit the Christian group there. I say, no, I won't go. But now I change my mind, I go. And I found out that a lot of people over there go to church, love God, and the church filled up. It surprised me that people who live there really need God and want God and go to church. Why you found out that why the people over there more active than a lot of people in other parts of the country.
Not compared to Memphis.
Well, compared to California or many places in the Bay Area, people in Las Vegas go to church more than us. It might be because they live in Sin City.
In Memphis, you can find a church every 3 blocks.
I went to Texas to preach there. It surprised me that even in small town, there's church everywhere.
Wow.
And on Sunday, they closed down the whole city, everyone at church. Literally everyone at church.
Actually, they have every street, they have a cross on it. The sign, the cross.
If you compare California to Las Vegas, more people at Las Vegas go to church. The church filled up with thousands and thousands of people. They see
John,
the contrast very well. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Is it like when Jesus quote somewhere, he said that only sick people need doctor? Those in city, it's more sick people. That's why a lot more people go to church.
I think they can see the contrast very well. They clear for them what is right, what is wrong, what is sin, what is good. So this is why they see God clearer than us.
John, do you ever went into casino and eat food there?
You see, what you define by casino? Because
like where they gamble all the stuff and then they have some.
You know
food.
that in the airport in Las Vegas, slot machine everywhere in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And in the bedroom, slot machine. It's not joke. Yeah. Every restaurant have slot machine. Mm-hmm. So that you call casino. Even bedroom, airport.
So that's why they call Sin City, right?
Yeah. Every corner. Yes, Nathan.
John, it sounds very tempting. When you go, better not carry your wallet.
Well, thank God I still never try my luck on any machine. But I have seen people who really hopelessly stick with the machine. And I met some people who come to the Thai group, pastor of Thai church in Las Vegas. I admire him and his wife who work hard. And the Thai people there, most of them work in that kind of situation. and a lot of them still stuck with gambling. But at least they know this is not good. So the power there is so strong.
John, I have one question. So I know
Yes.
I know a friend, I think he come to the Bible class, Bible class on the past. And then he's the leader for working in the work for the casino. I don't think he gambled, but he worked there. Is that good? Or is that right or wrong?
I have that doubt equation for many years. I have a pastor friend who went to Las Vegas every weekend. I say, what you do there? He said that I have friends who work in casino. And they say I try to go there to witness to people. At first I doubt him, but later on I understand that. He tried to help people to know God, and a lot of people there lost everything, lost hope. And he saved a lot of people. People kill themselves. So many people kill themselves in Las Vegas because they lost everything. And those people need salvation. Yes, Nathan.
Ajahn, we have about 2-3 years ago, we have one couple came to our church, and he want to be our members. Well, they want to be our members, and they asked us. They said, "I have a question. We have both of us. We work for casino, and the husband asked. He said that." Will our church will take them in because they work in the casino, and he even said that if American church they won't take them in, but in our response we said, well, you work first, and that's your living, your resource. So we said, if you love God, you want to serve God, maybe you can keep doing what you're doing, but meanwhile you can just look for another job. So you can Christian, but set good example. What do you think?
Well, if we have choice, I think we can choose what is the best. But I know a lot of people don't have choices. And in the past I would say no, but now I say that I won't judge them. It's between them and God. You know that in Jesus' time, Jesus went to all the bad places to save people. The prostitute, the tax collector, they all get together in the sin city too. And Jesus went there to save them. And a lot of people complain that Jesus don't know they are sinners. Jesus said, I know, this is why I came to save them. Sick people need doctor. People criticize Jesus a lot that going to save sinners.
So it's matter of heart, not matter of what you do.
Well, Jesus answered very well. Anyone who have no sin cast the first stone.
John, you talk about a leader at church. They should not go gamble or their wife, or if they do that, what can you do, John, in your position?
I think if Jesus very clearly say that to be a leader have more demand and more sacrifice to do. So to be regular member, I think is still a lot of okay, but to be a leader, you need to sacrifice more. You need to be better example too.
I think as a leader, you should not participate in that kind of activity. You might not condemn it directly, but you shall not participate.
Well, the thing is, the leader, if they do that, it makes stumble block for the other.
The penalty of being being. This is one of the things that I try to avoid, not to be long ago that I thought of myself that I don't want to be witness to anybody or anything like that, because I don't want to be a stumbling block of anybody, because the penalty of being a leader and do the wrong thing, the consequences is very severe.
But it's not you who volunteer yourself. God chose you.
Well, at that time, that's what I thought. And because the penalty of that is, I remember long ago that it's better to put a molding stone to the neck and throw into the sea. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but we need to know this way: intentionally stumbling someone or unintentionally is different thing. A lot of time people get stumbling without you knowing anything. You're innocent of that.
How do we witness to somebody? Sometimes, like the other day, I witness to this person, and I know what I'm thinking, I know what I'm saying, except that I cannot finger point on where do I read. I read that several months ago, and I used that to be a witness. It had to do several days ago, and I could not go back and pinpoint this is here, this is where it's said. How do I be able to remember where I pulled that one from?
Now today it's easy. Google it.
Yeah, Google, but I tried to do that too. I just don't know how to form the word to bring out that end, to locate that.
Google very smart now. You just put a few words that in that context, they bring everything up for you. AI today is so smart, too smart. In the old day, our students had to buy commentary, dictionary, all kind of tool, but now you Google it.
How can you trust Google? Because Google is very biased, very liberal.
Well, they offer you a lot of choices. Now you have to go and read everything and select the best.
Because Google just come out with a new program, AI, and then they have to shut it down within a day or so, because they're so biased.
Well, you have to decide yourself. Yeah, Nathan.
I use Google a lot. Google, they don't just make one sentence. They think about, for different people. If you have one idea, just type in, and it will just show you a whole bunch of answers. So you have to pick the one that are suitable to you. Back to the Ajahn, you said that before, you said you will never go to Las Vegas because it's Sin City. But now you get wiser, so you change your mind. I think that's what happened to me too. Since I start attending the Bible school, I think for myself, before I was really straightforward, really wow, you're not good enough. We can start without willing, but you can start judging people. I think now we get older, we okay, the way that person's doing is not good, what he or she's heading is not good, but don't judge that person. But we just with God's love, we can just try to be humble and pray God will change that person's heart. That's how I see right now. So it changed me a lot. It helps me.
Yeah, but still you have to be careful when you're playing with fire. You have to be very careful.
Yeah, don't go into the cave of the lion.
Yeah, if you're not prepared well, don't try.
Ajahn Swang.
Yeah.
When I figured out something about myself, for some reason, lately for a month or so, I feel differently in terms of the spirit that I more tend to when I listen or hear the word of God that is touching my feeling. I feel so how do you say it? So kind of so soft, so feel like I'm being touched, being cry out, being weak, feel like a kind of soft in the heart and cannot contain the feeling. What's that? Is that something wrong with me or what's going on?
Well, I
Sometimes
think
even feel like I cannot talk, kind of
you
feel
could-
shaking. Is something wrong?
well, it's wrong in a good way. So if you talk about people who touched by God and you respond, not many people feel that way. Because a lot of us, when we read the words of God or pray, we just don't go to another level. But some of you might go to another level that touched by God and you change or you feel something different. So that is another level, not just normal anymore.
Because sometimes, like the other day, go to a special counselor and he gave me this word to read, and when I read it, I feel like crying, feel like out of control, feel like I'm being subject to something, and I wonder what's wrong.
So you see in the Bible all the time,
Recording in progress.
the people say that the teaching of Jesus is not like normal people. People feel the power of God, authority of God in his teaching. So this is something different. And our life too, you come to a point that you feel the power of God or touched by God and your life change. That's another level that we all expect to grow and go up to that level. Not just serving God with your knowledge, but with the power of God, of the Holy Spirit. But God needs to transform you first. Before you can use that to help other people.
How?
Let God
What's
do it.
that mean? Transform.
Let God do it. You cannot do it yourself. The process will keep going on. But you just feel the beginning.
Because the other day, the spiritual counselor asked me about if my wife repent, will you take her back? And in my thought is one thing, in my head is one thing, and then for some reason, I feel like being forced to say, God will have his way, kind of thing like that.
Well, we are Bible students or the one who's serving God. We always expect that our life will grow to another level. And that only by God, his power, that he could transform us first before we can touch other people's life.
How can we be conflict with ourselves? Like the other day that I have to say that I say things that conflict with my feeling.
Well, you come to the point again, Chris, that Jesus said, deny yourself. And let God take over. Yeah, farm.
John, I know that we talk about a casino and a lot of things. I had a friend that had called me one day and asked me, she said, Fam, what do you think? You know, we have a church member that work at casino. He's a manager, supervisor, whatsoever. But then he preached at the church. You know, is it doable? Is it a good example? You know, I say, you know what? That's your church. Your leaders have to decide. I cannot decide for you. You know, I said, depends on your church, because I cannot give her the answer. If I give her the answer, I'll be very straightforward and forward. I would say no. You know, how can you be an example and how can you preach and then we're at the casino? You know, I say, if you want my answer, that would be my answer. But I said that's your church. You have to decide. You and your pastor, your leaders. You gotta have to have depends what direction you want to go. You know, every church is different. I know the Baptist is very strict. Some are very conservative. Some are liberal. So I just can't really help her on that. I say, you talk to your leaders. If your leaders have to, you know, they are the ones that have to plan out, you know, what you're gonna want. Are you got that desperate that you have no one, or do you have, or you just let whoever want to preach, you know? So I don't know. And we have some friends that also ask, like, the lead of the church, the lead worship, but they go to party, they sing and let people dance, like at the New Year or birthday, wedding, you know. I cannot help them with that. I'm very straightforward. If I give them the answer, I know they will not like it, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, all of you?
For me now, I would say that let God decide. Who he can to use, let him decide. It's not for us to decide for other people. Only God can decide. And you know that God can use anyone for his purpose. And Jesus always said that anyone who not against us is for us. Yes, Gao.
I would like to ask one dumb question. That when we worship at the church, and I see some church they've been singing, dancing, and like is that okay? We can do that.
I would say that it depends on culture. You know that King David danced in his worship, in his singing. And that's very normal for his culture. The Israelite dance for God. And you remember when Moses bring the Israelite out of Egypt, his sister bring all the lady out and dance for God. But I know in many of our culture, unacceptable. But in their culture, it's the way they worship God. You go to African country, most of them dance when they worship. That's their culture. So I say depend on culture and depends on your heart too, why you do that. You know that when King David danced for God, his wife complained and said, it should not do that. It's not for the king to do that. And David said, I will do anything to honor God.
I would say as long as your intention is good, I think it's okay. Like for me, I like live music. When I sing a boring, I cannot just stand still, you know, I will move. I want to jump up and down, but then, you know, it's boring. You know, you fall asleep. So I think it's really, like John said, depends on the culture, the church, how you want your church to be. I think sometimes when we, like we talked in the past, we'll have to have some balance. You have to know your people well, your church well. You have to have some combined boundaries too.
in heaven is very loud and very so many song and praise.
But I think it's in one language, right?
Yep, we all speak angelic heaven language.
Yeah, I
I
bring
think
it up because that I heard somebody say that is not the right way to do it.
Well,
So I
when
think
we
again-
use our own standard, but I think that is not fair. We should use God's standard, not our standard.
Can it be matter of heart, Ajahn?
Yeah,
In a
what
matter
is God's
of heart
standard?
and matter of heart and purpose of celebration.
God look at our heart, not outside.
If we then in a purpose of honor and praise him, not in a way of blasphemy him, which should be celebration. Should sometimes I think we have sometimes if we have to look at somebody in a good intention from the good perspective, and even though we disagree with them, we have to hold our tongue and understand their point of view.
Yeah, you see the crash of culture, civilization all the time. Something in one culture is okay, but to another culture is not okay. That man culture.
We need to live in Jesus' culture.
Yeah.
Nathan said, what's the meaning of worship?
Your heart touched with God.
Oh, John.
Yes.
So, sometimes even me, so sometimes you sing, right? I don't know. Sometimes you feel inside you. My hand kind of out sometimes like look. Some people look and we like a dance, but we all sing here, hallelujah or something, and the hand out. The accent in mine all the time we do that, every Sunday. So I have to like something come from inside. So so happy and so joyful. I everything, I sing everything. That I look and sometimes I think so. Oh, maybe the people they're looking to like not should be do that. Make I can't stand quite the same farm say early. I can't stand straight and they have to hallelujah some something out. So maybe I know our spirit to like want to praise the Lord. I think that is too different. We happy. All the time I sing and every week.
That's
that, okay, right?
Well, I should say that when you see the vision of people worship God in heaven, angel and all the saints, they bow down, they lift up their hand, they stand, they kneel down, they do all kind of things. Yeah, Kat.
John, I just see it, not that many. When I see the preacher, when after preaching, I see a lot of members, they will like cheering, like singer. We can put the necklace, flower, like a pumlai. Thai said a pumlai. Is this the right way to do it? Because I don't see that, not that much. I just start seeing right now.
I don't know, but maybe certain culture now they do that.
I don't think so.
Oh, did you see that?
In Thailand, people in Thailand.
Even in
Yeah,
America
Church
too.
in Thailand.
yeah.
In America, they call when they do party like singing, for just for the Christian come together and sing like concert, and they will pass out pumala, and they give and they did that. We went to the one called music night in Modesto, and they do that. Some of the people then, and because they would do fundraise, they will buy the flower and they give it to the singer,
No, they
you know,
it's
for formula, and and it's
No,
part of the
just
fundraise.
specific to preacher only,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
pastor
preacher.
only.
Oh,
after
Well,
The
we
singer, the
always
preacher, yes.
need
Whoever
to give
in the
honor
state.
to God, not to the preacher.
right.
It come can this apply to that, Ajahn? Like a lot of time, this is sometimes I feel this way, that a lot of famous singer or preacher that is being praised to the point that they are like a super movie star, and they already get their praise, so God will not give them the praise because they already receive it.
Well, Jesus said that himself. You want to get it from man, you get it. Or you want it to get from God.
That's right. That's just like Jewish people. They when they keep their fasting and make show off so that people can recognize what they are doing. They only get it pray from the human. They don't need pray from God. Is that same situation?
I think so.
I think also it's culture too. Yeah, culture. Like people like in Asian, they like to do when they go to the concert, and the culture they start to skip the all that when praising the singer and all that stuff. But I don't know about the preacher.
You know that it happened in the Bible several times when Abraham or many people want to worship angel. Angels say, no, don't do that to me. Give glory to God only. The angel remind people, don't worship us. Worship only God.
Do not conform to this word, right? But be transformed.
Well, I don't think we want to steal honor from God.
I think that's a very important part if we want to be God's servant, that we need to, even though people give us a praise, we should learn to steer that praise to God instead of receiving it. Sometimes we do forget.
Okay, let me go with you to chapter 15 real quick. Okay. Now, after this, God gave Abraham a vision, and God promised him that I am your shield, your protection, and you will get reward from me. So this is a reminder that a lot of people say God's so quiet. After many years, why Abraham know for sure that God's still with him. Well, this will happen from time to time. God keep reminding Abraham that I still with you. I still protect you. Even you don't see me, you see my hand, you see what happened to you. I always protect you. I always with you. But this is a big reminder of vision. What's the difference between a vision and a dream? The Bible divides that in a dream you fully sleep. But in the vision, you have awake, mean that you're not really asleep. You still know what's going on. That we call a vision. It's like you get into a different time zone. Well, when God said your blessing is going to be so great, you cannot count off them and you cannot take off. It goes on to your children and grandchildren generation. And my protection is going to be with you and your descendant forever. So this is most Christians believe that nobody can fight Abraham's descendant and win. Anyone who fight them will lose and will punished by God. So that is the promise and the protection And God remind him and his descendants that don't be afraid because I'm God. We fear of many things, but God say don't fear. Now Abraham asked back to God, God, what will you give me? Why? Because he want to remind God about he have no kid, he have no descendant directly. Now you see that he have Lot and Lot already gone. Now he adopt another one, this guy Eliezer of Damascus. This might be a boy that he adopt to be his heir, new one, to replace Lot. But God said, no, it's not this one. And later on, we will hear about him. He's going to be the most important person, servant in Abraham's family. And Abraham going to send him out to find wife for his son in the future. This is the same one, we believe, Eliezer of Damascus. Main servant, and the most important one that in many cultures, in Greek and in Roman too, the father who are the soldier go to war all the time and have many wives and they have many children, but he's not sure which one it is and which one is the best. And in Roman and Greek culture, they call every boy born in that family slave. They treat them as slave until one day the dad will adopt one of them to be his son and heir. And that changed everything. And that the culture go on in many cultures in the old time. Dad will have so many kids, his own and adopted one. But all are treated as slaves until one day the father will adopt one of them to be his son and heir. So the
Chan บ่มีสัญญาณบ่นี่
Yeah, I think Achan's frozen again. I think he's
Yeah, I think so.
Lord Father, Lord Father, and you help me to get a hold of myself. I know
It's raining very hard outside.
know what you need me to do. The Lord of my life. God. Sorry, I lost my connection. Hope you come back. Okay. Let's go back to chapter 15. You were cut off on around the verse 4, Ajahn. 15 okay. Verse 4. So God remind him that it's not you who decide who's going to be your heir. God say, I am the one who decide. I am the one who chose the one that I going to bless. Now, this is a good thing that we always have to remember. It's not we who decide, but God who decide. And somebody say, how about our personal life? We decide, we make decision. Well, we might have just a little part in that, but the best thing is God make decision. God decide. And God remind him that I'm going to make your descendant like the star. And here the Christian always think this way. God promised Abraham at least 3 times, your descendant going to be like the star in the sky, the sand on the seashore, and the dust on the land. 3 different things. And you are Christian, who are you? Christians say we are the star. The Jew are the sand, and the Arab are dust. You are the Jew. The Jews say we are the star. Christians are the sand, and the Arab are dust. You are the Arab. They say we are the star, that the Christians are sand and the Jews are the dust. Because we are descendants of Abraham in different way. The Jew and a lot of Arab are direct bloodline of Abraham. But Christian, we are the bloodline of Abraham by faith, spiritually. And that Paul said that this is the best descendant by faith, not by blood alone, but by faith. Faith in God that keep the promise. And here God confirmed that your own body, from your own body, Abraham will have a lot of sons, but from different wives. But here God confirmed that this come from you, but also from Sarah. And this is talk about the bloodline, the descendant going to come. And here, the most important part of descendant is God account Abraham as righteousness, mean that he obeyed God, he believed in God. When God chosen him and God promised him, he keep his faith, he obeyed God. And the question will go on that what is the best quality Abraham had, that why God chose him after he obeyed God or before? That's a good question. People say that God have been chosen Abraham even before he obeyed God, or after he chose his quality. Which one comes first? We can discuss more about this point. It's like about our life now. God chosen us because God knows the future about us, or because we do something. Well, we can argue all day about why God chosen us. And the most important here is the chosen one and the righteousness in this chapter. That the main quality about the whole chapter, that why Abraham become the chosen one because of righteousness. And how he got this. Well, the Bible here in this chapter talk about obedience without condition. That's the most important quality. And here God confirmed to him, I am the Lord. Here is the same word that God told Moses. I am the Lord. I am who I am. And this is the way God always said to all these people. I am who I am. Just to confirm that nobody before me. I am God. And I am what I am, mean that what I say will come true because I am God. I can do anything. And whatever I say will come true. I promise it. Now, this is from verse 9 to 11 is the ceremony. Some people say that it looks weird, but in fact, this is a kind of covenant that in the old day, when you make this kind of covenant, mean that it lasts forever. You cannot break it. You have to keep it. And this is the covenant that God told Abraham, that you cut the animal into parts, put it there. And in the old day, people who make this covenant will walk through the middle of that two sides of animal. Like you have a cow, you cut in half, and you walk through that in the middle of it. It means that this is the covenant that you cannot break. It's covenant that you do it with your life. And here you have a heifer. Heifer is the red cow that never worked, a young red cow. And it rarely happens that you have a cow that born with red color, red hair. And it's almost like a joke. They say that the Jewish people have been waiting for this kind of cow for 2,000 years. It have to born by nature, not by artificial way. But by nature, they say that the heifer or the red cow rarely born. I don't know in the past, you rarely see one, but today it's by the DNA, we might can do it, but the prophecy say that when the heifer born by itself, the covenant will come back. It means that in the Israel culture, they don't see a heifer born that way for thousands of years. A red cow that born by itself. A goat, a lamb, a dove, pigeon. So you see they use 4 kinds of animal cut in half on both sides, and then people will walk in the middle to seal that covenant. And Abraham do that and wait for God. And how God show up? Well, the Bible says God sent fire, come into the middle, and then burn everything to show them that God sealed the covenant with him and it could last forever. But before God sent the fire down, Abraham fell into a deep sleep and saw a vision about his descendant. What will happen to them in the future, 100-something years in the future, that they're going to be slaves in Egypt, and that his descendants going to live there 430 years until Moses bring them out. And the question always say why God chose him, and what purpose that God sent them there for 430 years. Well, we can discuss more about that. That the future that God showed him, what will happen in the future. So this is something in the future, far, far away, many generations in the future. But God showed him that they are the chosen people of God forever now. The word covenant here is different from a promise, because in the Bible, covenant means that someone very high position make a promise to someone a lot lower. And it's almost like one-side promise, because the lowest one who get the promise cannot give anything back. Like the king, when the king make the covenant with the citizen, it's almost the king himself make a vow to protect, to guide, to govern, to help the people. And the people almost have nothing to give back. But the king himself make a promise to the people. And this is God make a promise to Abraham. I'm going to help you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to be with you forever. And what Abraham can give back to God? Almost nothing. So it's somewhat a one-side promise that I will never break this promise forever. And for what? What God can gain from this? And that is the question that the king will find out. What I get from these people when I make these promises to them. For this is chapter 15 is all about. Okay, let's come back. The most important in the chapter is the covenant. And God remind Abraham about this. It's going to last forever. God say, I'm going to protect you, guide you, and keep you from harm. Nobody can hurt you. So in chapter 15, what we learn, most important thing.
Again, how and why God chose Abraham?
That is a very difficult question to answer. It's like why God chose us to be a believer. And amongst of 3 billion people, why just a few people are chosen? What makes us different? Well, some theologians say that because God knows the future of everyone. Well, that just part of the answer. Because our future is not so good. We're not very different from the rest of the world. Now you look at the people in the Bible. A lot of them are chosen by God, and you can see their life. They all make mistakes. But what makes them different from the rest of mankind? Well, if you look at King David, Abraham, they all make mistakes. But one thing that stands out is they accept their responsibility. They accept their mistake, and they beg God for forgiveness. And they come back to God. Yes.
This is according to the word of God. God write a story from beginning to the end, even before we even born. So let's say Abraham or Jacob or Isaac or all these people, they make mistake. David, they make mistake. All these people, they make mistake. How can they make mistake when God already write the story? Is that God write the story that they're going to make mistake? They're supposed to make mistake or something like that?
Well,
Because God know from the beginning till the end, even before they were born, even before God laid the corner of the universe, create universe according to the word of God.
there are two main different beliefs here. We call the one line of belief, we call that predestination. At what you say, God planned, God wrote, God know everything, and God planned everything. That fully predestination. And another line of belief is free will. And the free will is opposite, mean that we make decisions about our life, our future. Now, both are extreme, but the Bible talk about both.
I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and my thinking is this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, God write a story from beginning to the end since we were born. But yes, that is God's intention, of course. But because of the Adam and Eve, we fall into the sin, and the story have changed somewhat. But nevertheless, at the end, God will get His way as always, because time is not an issue to God. He just waited out, and He just make things happen because He's God. He can make all things, and time is not an issue for God. He just thousands of years. He just wait, just like Israel continue making a mistake, but nevertheless, at the end of this prophecy being fulfilled, one step at a time. It's just a matter of time. It will be fulfilled.
Well, what you believe is a lot of correction, a lot of writing there, but it not answer all the questions.
Okay.
You know that if you talk with the free will guy, he will tell you that you are wrong. Because the free will guy will quote a lot of Bible verses that we who make decisions is not God. We who decide, and we who chose the wrong thing. So both are correct in some way, and the Bible supports both sides. And if you study each person's life in the Bible, you will see the beauty there that this theory don't apply to everyone the same thing. So what that means? People complain that God is not fair. God have favor. Because God don't treat everyone the same thing. Now this is another big problem. And God answered them that I am God. I do whatever I want to do. So can you argue with God when God say, I am God? I do whatever I want to do. I favor anyone who I want to favor.
This is one of the things I asked Ajahn too. At some area, God said, I do what I want to do. I favor who I want to favor. But in some part of the Bible, it said God doesn't forgot the word, doesn't give favor, doesn't God doesn't prejudice,
You're
doesn't
right.
give favor. I go, how can it be both? One is I can favor who I want to be favored, but in the other hand, God said, I favor that person.
You know why? We cannot use man's standard to explain God. In American culture, when we say that no favor, no prejudice, mean that you treat everyone the same. That means that no favor. But that's not the case with God or the Bible. If God is just and not favor all of us all, it will end up in hell. Don't you think so? We have a big reunion in hell.
Well,
So Ajahn, so we believe in both free will and predestination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bible talk about both. But
John.
it's not 50-50 though. Yeah.
Yeah, we talking about predestination and also foreknow. So what's the difference between the foreknow and the predestination?
It's a little bit different. Predestination means that God planned everything ahead of time. Foreknow means that it can apply to any situation. You have free will, and God knows that what you will choose ahead of time. It can be anything. You will choose God or you will not choose God. You will do the right thing or wrong thing. God knows in advance, but you decide yourself. It's possible, but God just knows.
Okay, that meaning God know everything about that person, but he still have the will to choose either way. But predestination, that mean he already draw the map like your GPS, just you already set the address there already and then just follow, right?
Yes. Predestination means that you have no choice. It's already planned.
Ajahn, can it be that, let's say I thought about this too, and I thought about, let's say, yes, God predestined us to be certain thing and certain way. If we look at Adam, right, God predestined Adam to be the ruler of the world, of all kind of animal, of all everything. It belongs to him. He is a God of this world. In another way, he wants to be king, the ruler of everything. Let him be like us. But at the same time, God still give us the freedom to choose. That's why Adam and Eve choose to choose to disobedient to God by doesn't listen to God what he have to say, because even though God already, because during that time Adam was perfect, Adam was pure. Before he commit that eating the fruit of knowledge, he was holy. He even can walk with God.
So what you try to say?
I'm trying to say that God give us predestined to be this way, but yes, God still give us the freedom, whether or not we're gonna choose His way or we're gonna walk away from His path.
I think all the
I just go
answer,
in parallel.
the key is here. God said that I'm going to make man in my own image.
Okay,
So what that mean? Not
that
a
means we
robot,
are. Sorry.
not a robot, not a machine, but someone like God who can decide, who can make decisions, who can do whatever they want. This is the image of God.
So we have the free will.
Yeah, we have free will, and also God have planned everything.
God do have plan, but at the same time, we have free will to choose our plan or His plan. Is that right?
Yeah, the Bible talk about that too. So, but the point here is, it's not 50-50. Some people think that, okay, this side 50% predestination, this is 50% free will. No. We see that it case by case, situation by situation. You will see that God pursues someone to the end, but for someone, God give them a lot of freedom to choose. You want me? You don't want me? You can compare the life of King Saul and King David. They're so different. And God treats them very differently. David failed many times, but God never gave up on him. But Saul, he make mistake, and God let him decide. You want to come back or you don't want? You decide. But David, God never give up on David. So that may be favor.
It could be some people have a particular personality that God want to use, not because He is any better.
Well, I don't talk about what they have or don't have. I talk about God. Why?
I think David, John, David, he admit his wrongdoing, and God saw that, to say, I think to everybody. I mean, God, I think you can say God favored him more because he humble. He accept his guilt, and he allowed God to do whatever God want to do to him. Because he accept his guilt, and I think, but Saul never. That's the difference.
You
But
go
we're
deeper.
talking about David, not talking about why God picked particular person. We know that some people, some our hero, for some reason, God, even though he refused to do the job, God will drag him over to do the job, just like Moses or who is in the stomach of the fish.
Jonah.
Yeah.
Jonah.
Exactly. Even though he refused to do it, God still drag him over to make him do it. Why? That's a good question. Can it be because God have original plan already for some area that it, because, for example, for Moses, for him to be who he is, not only God know, even the Satan know that Moses gonna be somebody great, because when Moses was born, Satan already tried to stop him from being born, tried to kill all the Jewish children during that time that he was born.
Well, we cannot tell all, but if you look at their life, one thing stand out. They're very close to God their whole life. God said that nobody ever be close to God like Moses. He seek God talked to him face to face. So I think one of the big secret is they have very close relationship with God personally. You look at David, you compare with Saul, it's a sky difference. Their relationship with God so different.
Today,
Yes.
today I witnessed to somebody. I said this to this person. I said, you know, for us to know what is good about to happen, it look as what is just happened that is bad. For example, I said Moses, when he was born, Jewish people was in tears because their children was slaughtered and thrown into the river. But when Jesus was born, a lot of Jewish children are also being killed because the Satan know what is coming. The Satan know what God's plan is and try to stop in every way that he can. Is that right?
You're right. God's plan is no secret. God tell the whole world what he tried to do.
So when we are facing the tribulation, sometimes we need to, I need to remind myself that God is up to something. That's why I'm in this trouble, because the Satan know what God about to do.
Well, you're right in some way. It just can we carry on until the end. A lot of people give up.
John, when I listened to one preacher, he said God chose a fat person. And I don't know why God chose a fat person. And he said, faithful, available, and teachable. So when God knows what person he's going to choose.
When you talk about fat, you mean F-A-T, fat?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to eat a lot.
Well, we all have to gain weight now.
Also, another question, John, earlier you mentioned about free will because God has made us in his image, and there's two words in there, the image and likeness. So when are they the same or different? When we fall in sin, do still have the likeness and the image still there, but the likeness is changed or not different?
Well, different Bible version use different words. Some version will say the image. Some version will say likeness. So it depends on you think it's interchangeable or it's different. It's like when you take a picture of yourself, they call this is my image or likeness. But today we look at image in a different way, like we worship the image of something because it looks very close to the real thing. So image is more closer to the real thing than likeness.
Yeah, I thought because I think maybe a likeness like your character or your attitude, but it's image is just like the picture how, but we don't even know what God look like.
Yeah, Kat.
Ajahn, I have a little bit question about the chapter 15, verse 9. So the Lord said to him, bring me a heifer, a goat and a lamb, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. What that means? So if the covenant, the God make a covenant with Abraham, if Abraham didn't bring that, and then what's going on? So what is the purpose for?
Well, that is the culture, the symbol that the king make the promise with the people. They will put that animal down there and they walk through the center of that, both sides of the animal. They cut the animal in half and they walk through that. So this is the ceremony they did in the old days.
Oh, okay.
So that is
Oh.
the culture.
Okay.
They
Okay.
really did that in the past.
Okay, now I understand. Ajahn, can I bring you another question, please?
Yes.
So out of the Bible, this is for the Matthew chapter 27, verse 52. I think it's verse 52 to 53.
Look it up.
So when the Jesus resurrection, the dead body will come out. So although this dead body went to the Jerusalem, that means it's a paradise or what?
What that's
So those people can re-die again, or they just directly go to the paradise?
Well, we still cannot make decision because the Bible mentioned that when Jesus resurrected after 3 days that he died. We believe that from the book of Jude and 1 Peter, Jesus went to the dead place, mean that everyone who died before him went there and waiting. So the Bible said that Jesus went there to preach the good news that 3 days. And anyone who believed in him from there, he took out. Those are the people who believe in him and waiting for him from the time of Adam until Jesus went there. Everyone waiting there because anyone who died before Jesus' time don't go to heaven yet. They just stay there waiting.
Okay.
But it's only a happy section and the suffering section. You remember the story Jesus told about Lazarus and the rich man. That is the praise. So when Jesus preached there, anyone who believe in him, come out with him. That in the book of Matthew chapter 27. Now the question is where they go now. The Bible says they show themselves in Jerusalem, and after that, where they go? Well, we believe that now they are in paradise that Jesus talking about with the thief on the cross. Today you could be with me in paradise or heaven itself. So this is the people who believe in him from that place that died before Jesus' time. So now that place is no one who believes in Jesus because they're all with Jesus now. Wherever Jesus is, heaven, they are there now.
Oh, that means right now we are with the Jesus. That means.
Yes, if we die now, we don't go to that place anymore.
Oh, no more that place. No more
that place still there.
No more Abraham place. No more that paradise.
That place still there for the non-believer.
Okay, for the non-believer.
Yeah,
they're
waiting for the last judgment.
If whoever believe that Jesus and that when we die, wherever Jesus went, we with him right away.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, Ajahn. Oh, sorry.
So can I have let me finish first, Wu.
Yeah.
Did those people who was risen, the one who was come out from the dead, and then they still go with Jesus.
Yes.
They don't die no more. They just with the Jesus already.
Well, they don't have a new body yet.
So that means, but still with Jesus.
Yes.
If the believer and go to
Yeah.
the judgment day.
Do we have a little bit proof that some people can see or no?
Well, we just see the promise that Jesus gave to the thief on the cross.
That's
that
all.
today
That is it, the one. Okay.
you're going to be with me.
Mm.
And after that, we just see that Jesus come to see with his disciple many times.
So that means the dead people, when they come up, no more dead, they just go right away.
Yeah, they still don't have the new body until Jesus coming back the second time. And the Bible will tell that there are steps that which group will get the new body, first, second group, or third group. But now we don't have a new body, but we have our spirit with God in heaven now, the one who died. You know that in the future, we're not just going to have spirit, we're going to have a new body. The new body, that means that you look at Jesus after resurrection. He can walk through the wall, he can disappear, but he can eat, and people can feel his body. But he can go anywhere now. That's the new body that we're talking about. And the new body not going to get sick, not going to get old, and not going to die.
Okay, Ajahn, I have the same question as Kay asked you, but I still want to clarify that because on the rapture, right now, a Christian die, his spirit go directly to Jesus with Jesus in heaven, but only the spirit, not the body, right? The body will happen when the rapture, right?
Yes. You see that the rapture will happen this way. The Bible says that all the dead bodies from the earth, from the ocean will come back, and in this instant will transform into the new body. So it's like the exchange. We need to take the old body. Somebody say, I was burned to dust. Don't worry. God will reclaim your old body and exchange to the new one.
So if we being buried or being cremated, it's still considered as a dust. I think I read that today on the forgot what it is.
Okay, if you're still thinking, I think we should go to another chapter now. Now, chapter 16, we talk about Sarah's plan. Sarah already 90, almost 90 years old. And she has been waiting for the promise for almost 30 years now. She cannot wait anymore. So she said that, why not, Abraham, take my maid, the girl that I got from Egypt. You remember the time they stay in Egypt? Hagar. And she's the one who planned everything and told Abraham that I'm going to adopt the baby that born through her. She my mate. So now the question is why Abraham obeyed Sarah and why Sarah did that. Well, a lot of people say that she have been waiting for 30 years long enough. Now she tried to help God and provide the child that born to the servant. So Abraham obeyed his wife, and now Hagar get pregnant. And she's so prideful. She told Sarah that now I am the one who could be a new mistress. And Sarah got mad and treated her so bad. So what happened here in the chapter, Hagar ran away because she cannot stand there anymore. And what happened? On the way she ran away, the angel come to her and tell her, go back. You have to be there and accept whatever happened. But the son that's going to be born, going to be Abraham's son, but not going to be the heir. But God going to bless him because he is Abraham's son too. So what we learn in this chapter is sometimes we try to help God or try to make it easier that God's plan can be fulfilled. But we mess up the thing. A lot of times we mess up, make things complicated. And the consequence is forever. And now we know the consequence of this thing that Sarah planned and Abraham approved caused a lot of problem for the children, grandchildren generation. And we know God have the best, but we mess up all the time. And what we learn from this situation, we should keep waiting. After 30 years, did God come too late? Why it take that long? God should not let them wait this long for almost 30 years. And they're still waiting. Is that their fault that they try to do something? Or if you were them, what should you do? Keep waiting or do something that you can do? And who should pay for the price of the consequence that happened? But God come to save her anyway and tell her that go back. So in this chapter is mainly about another mistake that we make. But God still in his mercy and come to help, send the angel to save them from time to time. And that is the main thing in this chapter. So what you learn from this chapter when Sarah tried to help God or shorten the time that they're waiting for the heir? You agree with her?
In human term, I think Abraham wait long enough. In human term, because
Yep. I agree with you. From human perspective, they have been waiting their whole life.
yeah, because for the age, normally it's impossible in human term, but in God term is different story because God is able. And as a human, we cannot foresee that, I think.
And you think that God takes them to the extreme or push them to the more than anyone can bear?
I think God put them beyond extreme, Ajahn.
Why?
Why? Because God promised him to make him his name great, and his descendant is the greatest of all. In order for do that, he have to be even much superhuman, kind of like. God have to have pretty much total trust in Abraham because his promise is requires so much out of Abraham.
When you are blessed so much, the requirement from you is so much too.
That's right.
Responsibility is so much too. So you decide to be just a simple guy.
Well, no, but without the try and temptation.
The price is so high. Yes, Gao. You need to unmute yourself first.
Oh, sorry. In chapter 16, and Silas and Hagar, and a story, they try to help God, so that but for we learn, I think, for my thinking, so we learning something about this story about that trust God and waiting for His promise to come.
For some
So-
people, that means do nothing.
Do nothing.
But waiting is already do a lot of things. And
Ajahn,
there's, yes,
how can we understand? I know that, let's say Abraham, we are not in his shoe. We can see it, what he did. But if we were in his shoe, we don't know that.
well, I agree with you. If we were them, I think we fell long before them.
Exactly. We are look from very distant, seem like we understand it, but when we are in his shoe, I don't know what God will for me. What is at least Abraham, God actually told him that I will bless you with so much descendant. But for us, as today, we don't really know. We don't have a clear word from God that, Chris, this is what I'm gonna bless you with, blah blah blah.
Well, God did. You see that He promised our believer in New Testament that He's going to be with us and bless us too, if we believe in Him.
True, but not specific to particular person. This is very specific to Abraham alone.
Well, because He's the first one.
Okay.
So how long that God promised to Abraham?
They
And-
already wait for God for almost 30 years.
Okay.
Long time.
By the time he's 75, and then get him to a 99.
Well, Abraham will be father of Isaac at 100 years old.
100 years.
Wow.
So why God make him wait so long?
That's a good question. We always want tomorrow. Why you wait so long?
Ajahn, is that exactly 100 years old? If the Bible said, if I'm not wrong, that's about 99 years old.
Well, when Isaac born, Abraham only 100.
Oh, okay.
But Sarah was pregnant when Abraham 99 years.
Okay.
She need to pregnant at least 9 months.
Exactly. Thank you, John. Just counting that when the Sarah pregnant that time.
Yeah.
So that the 3 angels coming meet Abraham, that time Abraham's at 99 years old.
Yes.
And Isaac's born, and Abraham will be 100 years old.
Yes.
Ajahn, during Abraham time, how long people can live? I know Abraham lived until
135 or 39 years old. But in his time, most people live up to 100, rarely up to 100 now, because that after the flood, people live shorter life now.
right. So by human standard, Sarah is impossible to have a child.
Oh, a long time before that, because
Right.
she stopped all the process of motherhood long time ago.
Right.
So that's a miracle.
So I think that's God want to let us know the promise always come to the pass, because if the promise, when he promised to Abraham, and it's come right away, and we don't see any God's miracle.
Yeah, people might think it's an accident.
Sometimes this is one thing I thought about. You know, God promised, yes, it will come true, but time is not an essence for God. Let's say God promised Abraham that he can have the land from this river to that river. As we know up until today, that promise have not been fulfilled yet.
I don't imagine that when you live in that land, that no clock, no calendar, no time, no day, no night. It's always day, no night. How can you know the difference?
Exactly.
And you don't change.
Exactly. Yes, God promised gonna come, but in our time, it keep clicking, but God time is not.
I don't imagine that when you don't get older a day, you don't get sick, and you don't get old, you don't get sick, and you don't die. It's forever. Time doesn't matter anymore.
So we only pray God all day long.
A lot of job for you to do. Don't worry, God. God made the universe. Our world is just a dust in the sky.
So if no day, no night, only the day, that means we don't sleep, and then I know we don't hunting and fishing up there.
The good thing is we can eat, but we don't need to eat. That's a good thing. And the good thing is we don't need to poop or pee.
Oh, that's all, huh? When we eat, we don't need to do that. Oh, that's good.
That's
So
only heaven. Huh?
I'm kind of imagine when I go up there, and do I just walking, or I'm flying, I'm travel by car or bicycle, whatever?
You don't need any vehicle. You can go to Thailand, to Laos, to anywhere instantly.
That's great.
Yep.
Amen.
Within a second already there.
Yep. You see that today, if you want to fly to Thailand, to Laos, it takes you 14 to 16 hours. But in the future, just instantly, you're in Thailand, in Laos.
Oh, John, I want it now.
Want it now?
So is that a Thailand and Laos in the heaven?
That's the story. But in the future, I don't know Thailand and Laos there or not.
Okay.
In the end time, this world will disappear.
So we have a male and female in here on earth, and how about the heaven? Is that all
No
male,
male,
all
no female.
Now we're gonna be a perfect again.
Yep. You know that when God made Adam first, there is only Adam, mean that mankind, perfect. But later on, God divided Adam into two parts, male and female.
Yep. That's
Original plan, no male, no female.
Mm.
Perfect. And Jesus said in the future, we're going to be perfect again, no male, no female, because we don't need to multiply anymore.
So that's why
So otherwise, there's no Eve, right?
that's why Adam will multiply a lot. Now we're gonna go with a billion people over there. Billion of mankind.
Don't worry, there are too many people.
Mhm.
the more the fun.
Ajahn, I am so still confused. Ajahn, can you do a straight for me? I see that dead people when they come out and then with the revolution said that it's not that time, so we cannot, our body cannot go. But it seems to me for that Matthew chapter 27, 50, verse 52, it seems like that whole body can come out and with the holy, with the spirit can go with Jesus right away.
You read the verses.
Let me read the verses for Ajahn.
Okay.
Okay, that's 52. And the tomb broke open. The bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life.
Well, most theologians believe that that group belonged to the people who got saved when they accept Jesus, when Jesus preached the good news. The argument is the resurrection is part 1 or part 2, mean that the first part is the old body need to come up. And the second part is the body have been transformed and changed into the new one. So we don't know. You see, in Jesus' time, he raised a lot of dead people. But all those that raised by Jesus die again.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's why I want to know it.
So we don't know. We're still arguing that because Paul said that the first group of new body not have anybody have that yet. That's what Paul said. So a lot of theologians believe that those is the old body come back to life, but they will die again. They don't have the new body yet. So we don't know exactly what they argue for.
Yeah, John, when I compare to the Martha's brother, Lazarus, and then the Jesus called him come out from the tomb, and then his body dead again. That's why
Yeah.
a lot of people said this time is not like that, the Martha's brother. So this is the first fruit, first time, like Apostle Paul said.
Yeah, but Paul specific talk about the first group of people in his teaching. So they said this is not what he mentioned about this group. So we don't know.
So we still don't know exactly. So
yeah, we don't know exactly because Matthew just mentioned in one verse over there. So we don't know exactly why he put it there. But he mentioned that when Jesus resurrects, these people come out with him.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Welcome.
So,
Yeah, go.
so the same words then Ajahn Kat, he just read that it say that's the tomb broke open and the body of the many holy people who has died will raise. So that questions are holy people. Who is that? Those people?
Most theologians believe that the one who believed Jesus when he went to the dead city, that 3 days he preached there. You see, Jesus died 3 days. Where he go? He went there to preach the good news. The Bible said that. So anyone who waiting there and believe, please work with him. That's what most theologians believe.
So I just been thinking, a lot of people die, but only the Holy One can be raised.
So how we become holy?
The one obey and believes and obey.
Yeah.
But at the end time, everybody will be raised again. Is that right?
Yes, you're right. But one going to rest to glory, another group will be rest to for the judgment.
Exactly. I read that yesterday about this in Proverbs.
Yeah. So everyone will come back, judged for what? Reward or
Yes.
punishment.
Everybody die and everybody going to be just.
Yeah.
So this is the time for us to be right.
Wow.
Okay. I think I will give you some time of break and come back for the next class. So allow 10 minutes to take a break now. So do you have any questions about making disciple for the past 5 weeks? I don't know, in your group study, you have chance to talk.
Yeah, very good, Ajahn. So we have the Ajahn Kunsai. So please come join us. So very good. So we learn some together.
Okay, good. In your group study, I have announcement about the reunion in May. The first Saturday of May is on the 3rd or something.
On
That
on the fourth.
On the
on
fourth,
the
I think.
4th. And I want you to announce to your
On the
church
4th.
that what address Nathan going to send out soon. We go to meet in Sacramento this year on May the 4th, on Saturday. I don't know how many of you are in the committee planning.
I think most of churches know. I think Kate and Fran been going around.
Okay.
I almost go around already, except the Wesley, and there is no people that we know that only the Merced for the Chan Choi. So probably after the funeral and then maybe the following week, I will go there. Probably this week or next week, I'm gonna go to the Sacramento and how do quay tròi bữa nào hiểu nhớ nào mới hiểu. Mong gì bữa chết hiểu nhớ em gì.
Light point.
Light point, yeah. Maybe you mean what second week the mong gì chuẩn tổ vào mong gì à?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, tôi nhớ rồi. Sớm mà các bạn đúng ta thảo đúng thành kết rồi.
I don't know, Poon, where Kong Sai disappear.
Yeah, Kong Sai, he's blackout. So because of the windy, he sent me message. He said the light come out, so I can maybe he light candle now. So pray
Oh,
for him. Yeah,
the power off out for him.
yeah, power off.
Okay.
A lot of area at Santa Rosa, I think, right now.
Okay. And you have a chance to contact to Lao students, many Lao churches to know the meeting.
Yeah, I contact to Ali Lam, so he don't. I send his message and I call him. I send to a Facebook and everything, so he don't answer me. Nothing. So the Ali Lam then and that's and one guy in the Stockton, John Kampai. So at the Pachut Dongmala and Stockton. So I contact them. Maybe they're saying all the old number, Ajahn. So that's why I use old number. I contact them. Maybe they see, but I send a message say this is a Lao Thai church in Fairfield. So
I
we have
think
alumni.
maybe we need to post the invitation on Facebook or something.
Okay, we do that.
I think most of them have Facebook account.
Ajahn, if they don't have, they not accept a friend, so maybe they can see it, So we try. I try.
Okay.
Ajahn, do I need to go to Ajahn church to drop off the invitation, or Ajahn just only announcement?
You can talk with Jo if she can help.
If not, and then I can stop by the Ajahn church on a Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know which is Sunday, but I want to.
Not right now.
Yeah, but not very soon. Probably third Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Tonight we're going to cover chapter 6. Let's see. Okay, making disciple chapter 6 is about how to move people spiritually. It means that in order to help your disciple to be spiritually, know ourselves, and we need to know them. In order to help them get closer to God, it starts with us. So it's not all easy, but by depending on God, we can help them. But it's always smart to remind ourselves and to them that we are not the model. Jesus is the model. But we try to help them to model after Jesus. So we just like a big brother, big sister for them. But we are not the real teacher. Jesus is going to be the real teacher. Now, we are the big brother, big sister that they're looking up to, because people always say that they cannot see God, but they can see us. So we try to bring them closer to God by standing with them and help them understand God more. So we know that you are older in the sense of you know God before them. So that's why you can help them in some way. And Paul said that you can be a teacher now, but a lot still drink milk. So what that mean? Mean that we're not growing, that we're supposed to grow. So whenever we can help someone to grow and mature, it means that we can start to produce new believer or new disciple. It means that we're growing up. Now we look at some signs. The main thing that the Bible mentioned is When we can reproduce new believer or new disciple, it means that we mature. It's like when you can become a father or mother yourself, you've become a full man or full woman. It's the same thing in the spiritual sense. The Bible look up to us. Whenever we can reproduce new disciple, it means that we mature. So that is a sign. So for someone who after 10, 20 years of being a believer, but still cannot produce any new believer, it means that we're not growing. We're not mature enough, or we're not healthy spiritually. So the first sign that they look at us is other people see our life and glorify God. That's the first sign that we mature spiritually. We can be a good leader now because our life glorify God and others glorify God because of us. So how that happened? And the second sign that we mature is we love both friend and foe, mean that we love everyone. Not just the one who good to us, but even the one who bad to us, we still love them too. And this is the sign that we mature, we're growing up. Because everyone we start with, we love the one that love us and hate our enemy or the one who hate us. That's normal. But it's not, that is not a sign of mature believer. What is the third sign? Meditate on and pray over his words, mean that we spend a lot of time study the words of God, meditate on it, pray on it, thinking about it. It means that we eating the words of God daily as food, spiritual food. I know that we spend a lot of time eating physical food. I have some friends who just looking at menu, new restaurant, going out, find good food to eat all the time. But how about spiritual food? The words of God, that we need to spend more time eating, learning, meditate on the words of God. Number 4, the sign of mature believer is we acknowledge our hopelessness, mean that without God, we cannot do anything. Without Jesus, we're hopeless. We depend on him all the time in everything. When we think that we can depend on ourselves, we have big problem. But when we know that without God, we're hopeless. And this is the sign that we know we depend on God completely. So, and here the article have 2 examples that we can look at their life. First is Hudson Taylor, the missionary who went to China. And when we study their life, we know that they're very mature believer because they have all this sign. They love the Chinese people. He left everything in order to go to share the good news with the Chinese people. That almost about 200 years ago. And the Chinese people don't accept him, don't welcome him, but he loved them. And he stayed with them, preached the good news, even he suffered so much. He know that only Jesus can save Chinese people. And he meditated on the words of God. I don't know that through his influence, directly or indirectly, my great-grandparents became believers in China, that almost 200 years ago. We just know that one of the American missionary, English missionary, preached to my ancestor in China. And my ancestor became the first believer in his village. So that the legacy about my family through one of the American and English missionary And we believe that Hudson Taylor have a big part in that. And if you study his life more and more, you will see all the signs of mature believer, that he care about other people so much and ready to sacrifice everything to save other people. So this is some sign that we can come and discuss about why a lot of us don't have this quality. That the second one, George Mueller, this is a great evangelist and a great pastor who preached the words of God with all his heart, with all his concern about people, trying to bring people to salvation. So this is the sign that they worry about people not be saved. They worry that people will die without Jesus. And they work and they give everything they have in order to save other people. And that is a sign that we mature, we know that Jesus commanded us to do this, to help other people. So this is some sign that we going to talk about ourselves, acknowledge our helplessness with our God, and other people glorify God because of our life. We love both friend and enemy with our heart. And number 3 is meditate and pray on the words of God all the time. It becomes part of us. And number 4 is acknowledge without God we can do nothing. This is the 4 quality that we need to develop. We need to have. Now I will come to you and talk with you that what you have, what you're lacking, and what we can do to develop that 4 quality that we need to have. What you already have and what you don't have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you have some time, but not all the time.
I know that I'm helpless. That's what I know.
Well, that's good. God bring you to that point.
Yes. And I know that I'm with the word of God, that's one thing.
Yeah, I see in Chris that I know him for more than 30 years. I never seen Chris come to this point until lately. So something need to happen to us, believe me, before you come to this point of a mature believer. It's not happened by accident. God need to bring you to your knee.
How about empathy, Ajahn?
Yeah, empathy is part of you love everyone. You care for everyone. Empathy is the feeling that you can get hurt with other people who hurt. It's not
a sign of weakness.
No, it's a sign of caring, of love. You know that when you say, I have sympathy on you, it's just the polite way to say that I can understand you. But empathy means that I can feel your hurt, your pain. I pain with you. No, not many people can say that, because unless you went through the same experience, that you can feel that pain.
Sometimes, Ajahn, I'm thinking that as me, I feel that lately I have more empathy, but at the same time thinking that as a business person, it's that practical, because empathy means I can feel somebody's sorrow and pain, and when I help them, at the same time, I have to collect the money from them, even though they are helpless. how to balance that.
Well, I cannot answer you on that. God have to help you. I don't think that I have the definition to explain to you because I think it's about you and God.
Because lately, I have this person, her husband died, get in a car accident, and her daughter died about committed suicide, tried to commit a suicide, and then get sick and then die within 2 months apart.
Wow.
And I feel empathy for her. So I postpone and work with her until so she get the health insurance for her husband. And because of I feel want to help her, when she got money, she just skip out. And I, in a way, I kind of lost more than $10,000. And I feel okay. In a way, I feel like I kind of stupid some way. But in a way, I feel like I let it go because that revenge or anger is belong to the Lord. Let him deal with it. And as a business person, I cannot have the empathy like that for too much because otherwise the business will go bad.
Well, I think you have a point. If you want to run a business as a Christian, it's going to be tough because you need to sacrifice a lot. But I don't mean that it's impossible. It's still possible because if you believe this is God's business, you're not the owner, and God is the one who bear the loss. If you think that way, it's not you.
And I feel that, kind of probably 4 or 5 months ago, I learned that lending to the poor, helping the poor is like lending to the Lord. He will pay.
Mm-hmm.
And have to trust in that. One way or the other, he he always good in his promise.
You need to ask yourself, what if Jesus, in this situation, what Jesus will do? If you do the thing that Jesus will do, you do the right thing. So don't worry. If it's God's business, you do your part as God wants. So don't feel that you stupid or you lost. No, it's not. If you know this is what God wants you to do, it's still God's business. So you should feel good. So don't feel sorry when you help someone. It's still a good thing to do.
I don't feel sorry that I helping someone. It just feel like kind of dummy, being fool. But anyway.
Well, if you know you do the right thing, don't worry about what other people think. You just care about what God thinks. That's more important. If you're okay with God, I think that's the right thing. So empathy means that you suffer with people. So when you help people, you need to suffer with them. If you don't suffer with them, you don't have empathy. You don't helping. So there's always a price to pay. You remember when Jesus said that someone sue you for the cross, give them another one too.
I know that.
So you have done well, Chris. Don't worry too much. Well, another thing that I think we need to emphasize more is the words of God. You meditate on it, you think about it, you pray about it, and you eat the words of God as part of your food all the time. I used to demand my student that before you graduate from our training, you need to finish reading the whole Bible at least once. So that still stands. I don't know how many times you finish reading your Bible.
Only one for me.
Oh, you need to do better than that.
I think it's 3 times
for
me.
15,
Wow.
20 years, I think I only do one time. Go all from Genesis to Revelation. So like only one time. But
What
we almost finished one another time right now.
Good.
So how many years already, Carl? Or this one?
Probably
3 years already, right?
3 years.
Yeah, we've been this group about 3 years already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think we started 2020 by March.
Well, somebody say that, well, we should read slow. I think we should read both slow and fast. When I talk about slow, I mean that you study the words of God in detail. You meditate on it. When fast, mean that you just read through them because you need to do both ways. So that's part of your life.
Yeah,
John.
right now we for me, I've been reading the scripture a lot more than before.
That's good.
Yeah, so but for the English is difficult for me. I can read it, but I cannot understand that much.
Well, now the technology have all option and all help. You can also listen to them while reading, or listen many times. You can finish listening. It go faster, and that will help you a lot too.
John, when right now, I'm trying to figure out about the Bible, what book of what version of the Bible is I need to read. And a lot of time when I read the Bible that is close to the Word of God, it's hard to understand. But if we read the Bible that is that the written in the spirit of the Word, I tend to understand better.
I found this on the web.
How-
They
how to
good
pick
and
the-
bad.
because I think I've been thinking about this, and if we read the Bible that they written according to the spirit of the word, that means the spirit of the word apply to everybody differently. Is that right? You're not
Yes.
reliable on somebody else see the word of God in spirit.
Well, if you are student of the Bible, you need to read the version that as close as possible to the original. And that's why we need to find a version that don't try to explain, but stick to the original verse as possible. That's why when you study the words of God, you need to know the history, the background, the language, the culture, so you can interpret it correctly. But a lot of modern versions, they already translate it for you. They already spit out what they think. So a lot of versions today, they already explain what they think.
Right. And this is one thing I have argument with the spiritual counselor, that they try to kind of water down the word of God and to use different word replacing what our culture is not acceptable. And I talk to them, the word of God is absolute. And if you believe in God, He know all. Don't you think He know better what word to use than what is acceptable in our culture? Kind of thing.
Yeah, but for regular believer, it's going to be very difficult. But for you, as you going to be a teacher or leader, you need to stick with the original as much as possible. Because that is the foundation for you to learn the right teaching. If you use the version that people already interpret to you, they already decide and guide you to their way, not God.
Right. And I've been bothered with that, the version that I can understand, because they add the word in that is not what God intend to say. And they just expand the word in a way that acceptable to American culture, the way that this culture can accept. And I don't think that's a word of God. I don't think that's true with the Lord.
Yeah, in Bible college, we always recommend that New Revised Standard Version. But today, a little bit more flexible on the English Standard Version. Anyone that with the word standard, it means that it more stick to the original as much as possible.
John, earlier we mentioned about sympathy, empathy, and also talk about Hudson Tyler. What about any Armstrong? Is she a good example for that type of empathy?
Yes,
sympathy?
you see, a lot of great missionaries have a lot of empathy. That's why they sacrifice their life to save other people. A lot of people who don't have enough empathy cannot last long. Because when you go to do mission work or try to help people, after a while you give up, or you feel that they don't appreciate what you're doing for them. But when you have a lot of empathy, you don't care. People see or don't see, you don't care. But because you have that motivation, you have that love, you have that suffering for them, you're ready to die with them and stay with them your whole life. A lot of missionaries need to have that. But you know that in our mission organization, half of the missionaries will quit in 2 years. You send 150 of them will quit in 2 years. And another 25 will quit after 5 years. After 10 years, maybe 1 or 2 left. Out of 100. Because it's difficult work. But modern day, it might be a lot easier. But in the past, it sacrificed your whole life and very little pay. So you need to have a lot of empathy, a lot of love.
John, what we gonna do if after we teaching some group of people for years and then you don't see anything change, any fruit? So I question myself that maybe I'm not a good teacher or for whatever reason, and sometimes myself I feel very discouraged and I kind of think about quitting, but later on I do it again. So how are we going to deal with that?
You know that some of my friends asked me that what you're doing is like you are the farmer and the snake. You heard the story about the farmer saved the snake life. The story go on that the farmer saw a snake in the cold weather. The snake almost frozen to death. So the farmer had pity on the snake, carried the snake home. With the warmth from the farmer embrace, the snake come back to life. And what he paid the farmer, he buy the farmer. So they say a lot of your job as a pastor or missionary is the farmer. You carry the snake.
Is that the right thing to do, Ajahn? Ajahn, I heard that story. Is that the right thing to do as a Christian?
Oh,
and
yes.
at the end of the story, it goes like this. The farmer turned around and asked, why did you do this to me? I'm helping you. And the snake said, that's what I do.
So that's normal. People ask me that question all the time. I say, yes, I know, but I still carry the snake. After 40-something years as a preacher or teacher, you ask me how many bites they got all over my body.
But the snake doesn't feel guilty because that's his nature. That's the problem.
So you don't expect the snake to feel bad. But if God calls you to be the farmer, you'll be a farmer. It's not about the snake, it's about God who called you. People ask me, I feel bad. I say, well, when I was young, yes, but now I don't feel that way anymore. Will you keep doing that, Nathan?
Ajahn, you mean you felt bad or you felt unappreciated?
Well, I used to feel all kind of feeling, but now you might say I'm numb. I'm immune to all the poison now.
You get too much injection, you're immune to it. Huh?
By the grace of God, I survive every bite.
Ajahn, do you ever complain to God?
When I was a young preacher, yes, but no more. Long time ago.
Is that what God mean when He said that the snake bite you and they're not gonna do you a harm in a way?
Well, yeah, you get to the
Technically.
point that Jesus said that when poison, you're not going to die. They're going to poison you, but you're going to survive. And you're surprised that it's not your enemy who poisoned you.
It's your friend.
Yeah,
It's the one
your friend.
the one that loved you, the one that you love the most,
Mm-hmm.
the one that benefit from everything that you do.
In American saying said that the dog never bite the hand that feed them.
But they do,
Ajahn, can you repeat that word again?
The dog never bite the hand that feed them.
Oh, you mean the owner to feed him?
The little dog.
Oh.
But there's a word that you are the dog that bite the hand that feed you too. How about that, Ajahn? How about that Jesus said that you know how he been portrays the one that eat his bread with him? Jesus said that, did he?
Yeah, the one that eat the bread will betray me.
That's right. That's how I felt during that time. The one that who actually eat the bread with me, share every food.
So that's a good thing for us to learn that we're going to expect that. It will happen in your life. And not one time.
If God know why God doesn't help us to prevent it.
Well, I think that the price to pay, even Jesus paid that price too.
Ajahn, no matter what, we just biting the teeth and then suffer for it. Don't say it, right? Otherwise, we got the price already. So just go.
So good. You feel that, oh, I now understand how Jesus feel a little bit more. Because you suffer with him the same way. You heard another story that in heaven, people don't brag about how many crowns they got, but how many scars they got for God. So, well, if you don't have enough, get some more.
That's why a lot of people, they are afraid to get hurt. So that's why they don't want to study the Bible.
Well, I think that if you understand to hurt for God and to save people is worth it.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing, I see, some we sacrifice a lot. Isn't God sacrifice more than us have right now? So, 19, 20 years. So I got, all the time, got fight all the time, but I never say nothing. So I thank God, I say, thank God, He's on everything you do. And sometimes very hurt. Sometimes, why old people cry? I don't let my wife see. I go room, sit down, pray and cry because so hurt. The big problem that pull on you, at the third year I come to be the served, and second time, all member leave the church. Only me and my family sit down inside the sanctuary room, and we sit down, hold my daughter hand, and we pray. And next week, another week, everybody come back until now. So but I'm still have a lot of problem fight. The same Ajahn said, the synagogue will buy you all the time. You hurt, but you have good medicine. You cry to God, read the Bible. I put on a psalm, read psalm a lot, Of course, I with you. That's I think that was in my mind all the time. So the day passed, everything good. Thank God, if we don't have nobody by us, we don't learn. If we don't hurt, we don't learn. So a lot in my life. And thank God, Ajahn, though, so give me example. Ajahn Pasan, you do your part. Another part, let God do for you. That's what Ajahn Pasan told me when we invite him kind of preach in a church before. So I give that 2 words and Ajahn say, don't give up. All the time, Ajahn say, don't give up. Okay, go for it. No, thank you, thank God. Thank you, Ajahn, too.
You're welcome. Okay, let's get back to okay, let's go to another section. The quality of spiritual leadership. Now we talk about you in order to help other people. Restless doesn't mean mean that you never satisfy what you can do. It means that you always want to do more. You always want to help people more. A lot of people feel comfortable and don't want to do anything else. But restless means that you never stop. You always want to do more or help more. And you always feel this is not enough. You can do more for God. You can save more people. You can help them more. So this means that we need to come to this point that we all can do more for God. And optimistic means that you look at the world in the past side, mean that everything always bad, but don't give up, don't feel bad, but feel that this is the beginning. It can be better. And it can be worse, but we thank God this is not that bad. Now it just looks like that people say that in the rain, 2 people look out to the window. One people say, oh, so wet, so cold, not comfortable, but another say, oh, so fresh, thank God for the rain. And the plant can go. And we have a lot of water. It's the same situation, but how you look at it. They always have both sides. And we want you to hope and look at everything in the positive side. Intense, what that means? It means that you always want to do better. And you work hard all the time. And this is for God and to help people. It's a good thing to be intense, not by accident, but you have plan and you want to work with God and you want to work hard. Self-control is mean that people will make you angry all the time or try to do something bad, but you control yourself. You don't fight back. You just calm down, listen, and let God guide you. You know that the first thing Satan will destroy you and your church is make you mad, make you angry. And when you're angry, you're mad, you lose everything. So self-control is the quality that we need to develop. Don't fight back, don't get mad. Just calm down and let God handle it. Thick skin. I always say that you as servant of God, you need to have a skin of an elephant or rhino. The regular bullet cannot pierce your skin. you have very thick skin that you can stand anything, any bite, any hurt. So this is the quality that we need to develop. If you have a thin skin, you cannot serve God. You cannot serve people. You get hurt so easy, that big problem. They try to hurt you all the time, every day, every week. Energetic means that you work hard. You have energy from God. Start every day. Work hard. Never give up. Hard thinker means that you don't think too much, but it just means that you don't take anything lightly. You think about the words of God and you care so much. You pray for them in that sense, but it's not mean that you worry a lot and think too much in that way. No, it's not mean that way. It just means that you take things seriously and you care for things deeply. Articulate, it means that you careful. It's not mean that you don't take anything lightly. You careful on everything. What you teach, what you say, and you plan. I don't mean that you plan everything without God, but with God's help. But you careful in everything. And this is mean articulate. Able to teach mean that this is the quality that you learn how to teach kids, youth, adult, senior, everyone different. And we can learn that how people learn and how to share the words of God with them. So we are not born with a gift, but we can learn. We can practice and we can help people. So we can teach them. Number 10, they say that if you mature enough, you have a lot of experience. You can tell what people do, what people say, what people think. God gives you the wisdom to see people, understand people. It doesn't mean that you try to judge them, but you know how to work with them. You know each one different. A lot of time we don't have that knowledge. Tactful, it means that each situation is not the same. So you need to know how to handle different people in different ways, or different situations in different ways too. That means tactful. Theologically oriented means that you have good foundation in the words of God, in the knowledge of the Bible, in the theology correct. If you don't have good foundation, now you have big problem, because you have to face all kind of situation, all kind of idea. But if you anchor on the right belief, right teaching, good foundation, you don't move. People will come from everywhere, but you stand firm because you have a strong foundation. You understand what you believe. So this is important. You know what you believe, and you have a strong understanding on the words of God, on the theology correctly. Dreamer. This is not in the bad sense. It means the good sense means that you have hope. You have vision. You're serving God with a dream, with a vision, with a goal that God gives you. And this guides you every day. You dream that one day you can build something for God or can help people. And that is not just a dream that not come true, but it comes from a vision that's possible from God. Organize and efficient mean that you try to work in the way that you can make it happen. Mean that you don't put too many things together in one time, but you organize things, make it simple, and make it work one thing at a time. Don't try to do so many things in one time. Don't try to make so many projects in the same time, but organize it, make it work one at a time, and that will help you work better. Decisive. Sometimes you need to make decision. And don't wait. Sometimes you cannot wait. Try out and work it. If it fails, you can start again. But if you don't decide, sometimes you never do anything. Sometimes you need to make decision. You have to do it. Perseverance means that never give up. Stick with it. When you start something that God tells you to do, you never stop. Keep doing it. A lover means that you have a love of love. And it's not just a saying, but you practice it. Love your friend, love your family, love your enemy, love your work, love your congregation, everyone. And really love them. Means that you care for them. Grateful means that people see that you relax. You're not nervous. You in peace. And you know that you trust God, that you can rest. So it means that conclusion means that you don't need to have everything, but you have to start with something and work on it. Nobody compete, nobody perfect that have every quality. No. We might have something and we have to work on something. And that to start with. If you have one or two qualities, it's good to start with and then develop more throughout the years of serving God, serving people. So you can share that what quality you have now and what you try to work on. Love, peace, trust, perseverance, organize, or dream of what you already have, or what you're still working on. Okay, let's come to talk about what quality you have and what you're still working on. What you have?
John, I have number 14 and number 17.
What are they?
Organize and lover. Sometimes when a lot of people ask you question, ask you to help, and you don't want to say no, and after you say many yes, and then you cannot follow through because the load is over.
So it's like what Chris have. One bite at a time. You cannot eat the whole elephant in one sitting. You just let people know that I can buy one bite at a time. I can do just something, not everything. Yeah, so it's always good. Don't promise anything in advance. You just tell them, I can do, I will try what I can do.
Okay, thank you.
It's good though to have love. And people expect a lot from you sometimes, too much. And a lot of time people disappoint that you cannot give them everything they want. Okay, what's else that you have, you think? Or what you're looking for?
I think I got a number 4, Ajahn. So a lot, that's a self-control. Self-control mean like you said, so they do a lot of things to you. We don't say back. We keep take that verse and that's very hard kind of pray, you know. If we don't have God, you know, so you have the words, I have word too, you know, you talk me back, me and I talk back to you. You say something to me and say something to you. That's you know, that's I think that number 4. I try to do so in the whole my you know, all my when God call me how to serve Him, so that I have to use the verse. Then number 4, control yourself. Not try to get mad, don't, you know. Yeah, you get mad, but you don't get mad in there. You come home, you tear come out now. You say early, you sit down, pray, ask God, please help me out. You know, I can help myself. You know, so God help us. This is my life, okay? This is real one. So I see this in number 4. So it's very good. So the people looking at, they're looking back. Oh, the same thing. The same quiz said somebody they say you you know, like a bad words, you know, like a you that, but the I think that's that point. This is good for the example. I mean, the people looking at right now. So how many years? So they say, oh, I'm humble. They get to follow you now. They do too. Sometimes somebody talk with them, they control themselves, you know. So I try this one. Very hard time for member of the church too. Teach them, tell them, have to humble to one another, love one another, take care of one another, have to control. If you want to be leader, you have to control yourself. If you don't get to control yourself, you cannot be leader. Or your audience get out.
Optimistic.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Self-control is so important, though. If you got mad, you lose your temper, you lose everything. You lose all people respect. It doesn't matter you're right or you're wrong. You still have to control yourself. You don't fight back. And who's going to fight for you? God. God.
God will fight for you.
You look at Moses, when his sister, his brother, or his cousin, his family fight him, what Moses do? He did not fight back. And God is the one who fight for Moses. I saw some young pastor who fight back and got mad and he lost everything. Well, I was young before. I don't know that I got so angry too. And also thick skin. You need to have thick skin. Yeah, Nathan.
A chance, so better don't say anything. When people say something to you, just don't say anything. Just take it in.
What is the use to argue back? You think they will listen to you?
Sometimes silence speak louder than word.
Yes, they will think back and one day they feel sorry. And a lot of times you don't need to say a word. Other people will say it for you. And God will have a way. If you're right, you just be there. Jesus never argued back a word in his interrogation. He don't say a word.
Imagine if Jesus fight back. You should thought about that. If Jesus fight back in a way that to save himself, he actually do the devil a favor because devil that exactly what he wants Jesus to do to be disobedient to his father and to stay alive in flesh. Is that right?
Yes, you look at Jesus' example, he never fight back. Not because he wrong, but he right. He still not fight back.
How can we see the way he see? He see the being lose is being win. Winning by losing. How's that strategy work, Ajahn?
It work because God is in control.
But he is God. That's why he can do what he does. But we are not that kind
But
of.
you're servant of God, you're serving God. If you're serving God, you think God will protect you and help you.
Yes.
Believe me, I have been doing this for so many years. God really in there. Yeah, okay.
Okay, for example, Ajahn, this is a little bit tough question. For example, if the family, just example, like a family, whole family that's be a leadership. So one of that is not a family, stick in. So everything, that person just quiet, whatever what he say would, all the family reject. And then not even though, and then they were doing things like put him down or put her down, whatever that. So until that person don't want to say nothing, it's better just go for a little bit, go out for a little bit, step down for a little bit until times come and then go back, or what, Ajahn?
Well, if you can sit there, stand there the whole time quietly, that's good. If you cannot, it's better going out and come back than to blow up.
So just take a rest, like, couple months, don't say just, say bye-bye. Just, have a time, just come back again.
Yeah, if you can not stand, it's better than blow out and keep up. But if you can stand, you can sit there and listen and still there, never leave, is the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know that in my life that serving God, I went through all kinds of situations. Sometime when I was young, serving as assistant pastor, the pastor tried to kick me out. Stop me from teaching, preaching, don't allow me to do anything. But I still go every week.
Okay.
Until God get rid of the pastor.
It's Ajahn, is not narcissistic. Is narcissistic is a part of the devil.
So I don't understand what you mean narcissistic.
Narcissistic.
You mean a philosophy, teaching?
Narcissistic.
No, yeah. Go ahead, tell him again.
Narcissistic.
Well, there's a group of believers in the past who believe that they have some kind of spiritual knowledge or something. You mean that group?
No, the group that actually it's like this group is a soccer.
Oh.
They just like a kafag.
Oh.
Like really selfish.
Selfish and they just try to get everything out of you,
Oh,
suck you dry, because you're the supplier,
mm,
and they just try to destroy you, but they cannot destroy you because you're the supplier. เหมือน it's like กาฝาก right? They
mm.
cannot destroy the whatever he tried to
The
attach
host.
it to, the host.
Well, you can look that way. A lot of people depends on you. And if you want to look at them as useless, just parasite, I use the word.
Yeah, they're parasite.
But sometimes we can coexist. You know, in our body, we have a lot of parasites. And a lot of time we can coexist.
Exceed.
Mean that we still need them in some way. They need us. But sometimes we also need them too. Should you clean up your whole body, kill all the germ, all the virus, or everything out of your body? I think your body cannot survive. We need them to balance our body. In our side of our body, we have all kind of germ too.
You mean disease, อาจารย์
Do you believe that what kind of disease you ever get sick is still in your body? And we just coexist. And one day when you get weak, you get old, those disease come back. And you say, where I get it? No, it's always there. 20, 30, 50 years, it's always there. But it's under control because you're healthy. But when you're weak, it just act up. But we coexist your whole life. So my point is, unbelievable, we need one another to exist. Or you might call it coexist. Why God allows Satan to walk around, since he can get rid of them anytime?
That's what I wonder too. Because it seemed to me that God and Satan, they both communicate to each other all the back and forth, back and forth. It's like a chess game.
Yeah, you don't know, you don't think that God used Satan too for his purpose. Yeah, Nathan.
John, I want to ask back to your. You said when you were associate pastor, you had some trouble too because the pastor gave you kind of limit your mission. You said you still keep going, but when you were going to church, you had your peace of mind, or you just like I go because I have to go.
Well, I know that I need to respect the senior, even I don't agree with them. I still respect him. And whatever God wants, I still part of the church. I won't give up. Even he limit me, don't allow me, and say bad thing about me, but I won't give up. I won't move until God told me. So I know this is the right way to do. So I keep go on to the point that God removed the leader.
That's happened to me too, อาจารย์
Yeah.
And those people, they I stay there until those people, everybody gone.
Yeah, I thank God I learned because I started serving God at 15, very young. And when I was a young leader, teacher, I am so prideful. And I fight everyone. And God teach me a lot of lessons to be humble, to be patient. Yep. You
Dan,
have
since you don't, the pastor don't like you. I don't know. The more I see, maybe, just don't go to that church and let pastor do his work, and you can just start your own. So you don't have to fight.
No, I don't fight. I just let him do whatever he do. But I want to show the people that this is not the right way, just to quit the church.
Ajay, you quit the church and you start another one.
God did not tell me to do that.
So all your students supposed to follow your example.
No, I think you need to pray hard and let God tell you what to do. You know that in the past 40 years teaching in this school, a lot of my students, when they graduate, they start new church. And people always say that my students quit church or start new church.
So that's amazing. I meet one missionary, and I told him about in the school right now to study the Bible, and then the first thing he asked me, do you go to start your own your new church? I said no.
Well, I think it depends on what God have for you. My experience is just for you to share with you, but you all have different calling. And you need to ask God what God want and have for you.
For me, I don't think about it, and I don't try to start a different new church, because our church really small groups, and they need a lot of help.
Well, that's a good thing. Son?
Yes, I have one question about. I met one of those old preacher. Then he knew my background, like back about 10-15 years ago. He asked me, "Hey son, do you still go the party, any kind of party right now?" Right? Then I said, "No, I don't go anywhere like that, but I do have to go like marriage, the wedding party." And then he said, "You know what? If you fully Christian, so you should not go wedding party, right?" I said, "Excuse me, can you say that again? Can you repeat that again? Because like, what do you mean? We are Christian, we cannot go like wedding party. So what do you think about it?" Jesus had a first miracle from wedding party, so he didn't give me an answer. He just walked away. I don't know what to say. I feel bad today. I say, oh, maybe I say something too hard word for him to understand. Maybe I respond him too fast, something.
Well, I can answer that because different situation, different background, different culture. But I believe that he might mean good. and he might misunderstand you.
So did I give him right answer, or maybe I give him wrong answer?
Now I learned a lesson that I always tell people that I'm sorry if I hurt your feeling, but I have no intention.
Okay.
And I even go a step further that forgive me if I hurt you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I want to.
Yeah.
I thought I hurt his feeling.
Yeah.
He might be a good person too. And then I
Mm.
said, I thought if we sat the same table or we sitting at the same table, people do whatever people do. You just serve people because you go there for support that person who she or he getting married. And then people drink, you don't want to drink just fine because you take care of yourself. People take care by themselves. Then I cannot deny it because the people invite you to go there. And then if you say, oh, we are Christian, we cannot go, then I just brought him this question.
Yeah, I think he meant good, but maybe sometimes misunderstanding.
Okay.
But it's always good to say, I'm sorry, forgive me if I hurt your feeling.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Give me the right answer. So now I can sleep now.
Yeah. Okay, the rest of the lesson is still more about advice and the side that we're growing or not as a Christian leader, to be advisor or to help someone to grow. Jesus said that to be a teacher is more demanding, and God demands more from us. So this is some more responsibility that we need to have to help other people. But it's worth it. If you can help someone to grow, help them to know God better and to be better disciple, it's worth all the sacrifice that you're going to give. But the last verse is, depend on God, don't depend on yourself. Okay, you have
Explain that a little bit more. Depend on God. What do we do? Depend on God.
Mean that you pray a lot and let God guide you. And don't let your own emotion, your own reason, your own thinking take over. Because God's way are way different from what we think. And a lot of time we claim that this is from God, but it's not from God, it's from us. How you tell that this is from you or from God? I know that some preacher always say that God told me, God tell me. But a lot of time it's not from God. Well, the one side that clear is anything that glorify God, honor God is from God. Anything that glorify yourself for your own benefit, most of the time is not from God, it's from us. So that can be some side. If anything glorify God, honor God, that's a good thing. When you're in doubt, just wait and pray. Don't rush to decide or make decision when you're still in doubt. Okay, what else we can pray with you tonight before we go?
I have a brother He's really sick. Said in the
Oh.
hospital. He be there about a week and a half now, and he never get better.
Oh.
His name's Cows, the same name, but he have a last name that said Chow.
Okay, Carl said Chow.
Yeah.
Okay, what shall we can pray with you?
Ajahn, can you forward your Poland students phone number to us, please? We try to reach out
Okay,
to them. And
let
Ajahn,
me check. Let me check because I might have the same copy that Kong Sai or Jasmine Leo already have.
Oh, okay. That one? Okay.
No, mine.
Last year, 2 years ago, when we have the last meeting, I'm not sure Joe keep all the record of the people who join or not. So the legislation, I might have to check with her.
Yeah, we're trying to reach out to Nagok. If we can reach out to him, then the rest will be okay. He can pass
Okay.
work to the rest. We also reach out to Ajahn Prachan. They are in Thailand.
Yeah.
So that they might not make it back, but if they will make it back early, they will come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they respond to me.
Okay.
Ajahn, would you please come a little bit before the noon? Because we have a lunch at 12.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's all. Yeah. Or maybe just only 10 minutes early, and then that's okay. But we don't guarantee for the means time. Maybe say 12, maybe it's 12:30 sometime. But anyways, Ajahn, please come earlier, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
That on Saturday.
Yes, on the revival. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, hope to see most of you if you can go to church on Saturday. They have revival conference.
Yeah,
in San
invite
Pablo.
all classmates, please. Okay, who can come? Please let me know. So still available. Thank you.
Okay.
Pray that I find the helper. Ask God and bless with the helper.
Okay. Okay, let's pray. Loving God, we thank you that tonight we can study a lot of things. And I pray that you will help us not just to know, but to practice what we learn for your kingdom and to help people to know you and help us to grow in this process. Also pray for Gao friend. Gao said child that very sick now in the hospital. I pray that you would touch him, heal him, and give him another chance of life that getting better. So we also pray for the revival at Cat Church on Saturday, that you will bless everyone and all the leader and the time that we spend together in all that learning, training, revivaling, and everything to glorify you. And also pray that you will help Chris to find a helper so he have more time off to go on mission and to do many things for you. Also pray for the rest of us to have good health and for what we're serving you everywhere. Be with us and present until we come back again next week. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay.